Hey everyone, Effie here. Today I'm going to show you how to layer our new Morning Glory Cheer layering stencils. There are 4 stencils in this collection. The first 3 stencils are the 3 petal layers. The 4th layer is the foliage layer. This set uses the scallop numbering system. The scallops should always be situated on the upper left-hand corner. We also have our patent pending strategic alignment marks integrated right into the stencil design, the little squares and the bars that you see on the stencils. As we blend, those squares and bars get transferred or blended onto the cardstock, and as you blend each subsequent layer or stencil, you'll align those bars and squares. So we taped down stencil 1 onto some cardstock, and I also masked off the bottom edge of the stencil and the cardstock underneath with a scrap piece of stencil, and I blended the first layer with our lavender ink. Then I'm going to replace stencil 1 with stencil 2. When you place down stencil 2, you're going to align the bars and squares on the stencil onto the bars and squares that you've blended onto the cardstock from stencil 1. So we're going to go in with a darker shade of purple for this second layer. We are using Spring Violet, and just make sure you mask off the bottom portion of your cardstock so that you don't get ink blending along the bottom edge of the cardstock, because we are going to be blending our foliage in that area later. So we're going to replace stencil 2 with stencil 3 and blend Summer Iris for stencil number 3, which is the last petal layer. Then we're going to align the squares on stencil 4 onto the squares that we've blended from stencils 1 through 3. And we just went in with Deep Emerald for our only foliage layer of this design. So this is how the Morning Glory Cheer looks when it's blended, and this is the coordinating die that will cut out all the images in one single shot through your die cutting machine. This Morning Glory Cheer die was previously released with the Morning Glory Cheer layering stamps. So if you have the stamp and die previously, it will align with the stencils. Next up, we're using our circle nested dies. This is the 9th die starting from the center. The nested dies create solid panels, and then we're taking our circle slim border frames cover plate die. This die cuts a bunch of different frames in one single shot. So we're using I think it's the 9th frame. So they do coordinate the cover plate die and the nested die. Next, we took the panel, blended some of our C dye ink onto about half of that circular panel, and then we glued on the frame right over the panel, and you can see that they match up because they are coordinating circle dies. Then we took our diamond plaid cover plate die. This creates this really simple but very pretty and elegant background. You can go ahead and adhere this right onto your A2 card base. I glued it onto an A2 card panel because that's what I do for all my cards and in my videos. Next, I glued my circular blended die cut onto the center of my diamond cover plate die cut background. And then I'm going to begin arranging my Morning Glory Cheer die cuts. I just glued these directly onto my card front with some liquid adhesive. One tip when you're making custom floral arrangements with loose floral die cuts, just add a small dot of glue behind your flowers so that you can play around with your arrangement, and you can tuck your foliage and other floral elements under your petals or your flowers. If you add adhesive to the entire surface area under the elements that you're gluing down, you will not be able to add your stems or your foliage or other elements later on because they're just going to be stuck onto the surface of your card. So just one dot of glue, and then when you're satisfied with your floral arrangement at the end, you can then begin to add additional adhesive once you're done. So this is my floral arrangement. I'm very happy with the way things came out. However, if you guys, I created this card after I created my first sample. So the floral arrangement came together very quickly. However, for my first card, It took a really long time for me to figure out where I want to put all of my flowers, but I'm very happy with the way that I was able to put some of those flowers behind the die cut and in front of the die cut. And I think that it creates for a more interesting card because you have some faux dimension going on because I'm playing with the different layers of the card. So I added the sentiment from our Easy Expressions Just Because stamp set and some white multicolored opaque rhinestones. And my card is now complete. The Morning Glory Cheer stencils are available from our 11th anniversary release. All the details are on the blog, which will be linked in the video description below. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.